The era of Donald Trump once again returns. In an inauguration ceremony that was held indoors for the first time in 40 years due to the Arctic cold waves, Donald Trump was sworn in as the 47th President of the United States of America. In his first address as the United States President, Donald Trump said that the golden age of America begins once again. He has now made a promise that he will restore America's sovereignty and rebalance the scales of justice. On the other side, J.D. Vance, who was flanked by his wife, Usha, and 3 young children, was also sworn in as the United States Vice President. Aside from Joe Biden, former Presidents Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, they were all present at the Capitol Hill. This was a power-packed inauguration that also saw some of the biggest Silicon Valley tech wizards. Tim Cook, Sundar Pichai, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, all of them were also in attendance at this inauguration ceremony.
I've tried to take my freedom. America will reclaim its rightful place as the greatest, most powerful, most respected nation on earth, inspiring the awe and admiration of the entire world. A short time from now, we are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and we will restore the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley, where it should be and where it belongs. Today I will sign a series of historic executive orders. With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. It's all about common sense. First, I will declare a national emergency at our southern border. All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release. And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country. Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. And by invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, I will direct our government to use the full and immense power of federal and state law enforcement to eliminate the presence of all foreign gangs and criminal networks, bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil, including our cities and inner cities. Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents, something I know something about. We will not allow that to happen. It will not happen again. Under my leadership, we will restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. And we are going to bring law and order back to our cities.
Joining me live now is my colleague Gaurav Sawant from Washington, D.C. Gaurav, Donald Trump got straight down to business, declaring border and energy emergency. What's been the reaction post his inauguration speech?
Trump means business was an old saying with Donald Trump. And even in his second tenure as president, Trump means business even as president of the United States of America is the message that goes out loud and clear. The fact that an indication was sent out, the temporary restriction on TikTok, he doesn't want to anger his supporters, his young supporters. So TikTok has got a respite, but it's a respite for TikTok. Will there next be the big move to ensure that the social media giant is then either bought over by America or there's a 50-50% partnership. Who will be the partner on the American side? What role will TikTok play? Because he wants creativity, and his supporters say that creativity of young Americans is very important. At the same time, China cannot be allowed to interfere in America's internal affairs or cannot have algorithms that may adversely impact elections in the United States of America. That is why TikTok would be a very interesting story to see what is his roadmap, what is his game plan, not just on social media, but overall, what's his bigger game plan to deal with countries like China, to deal with adversaries, to deal with Europe, and how do friends like India and America move forward, take their relationship forward. Of course, there will be niggles, but the overall picture would be very interesting to see. The big picture does, all indications are India and America, the relationship will remain on an even keel.
Gaurav, there wasn't any clear mention of China. He only spoke about taking back the Panama, no word on Canada, even on Greenland. How do you think geopolitics will shift now?
Donald Trump has very openly talked about China in the past. His choice for his national security advisor and secretary of state are both very clear indicators that he will take a hard line on China. The fact that an invitation went out to the Chinese president, the fact that he was also wanting to meet the Chinese president, it's to send out a message that he's starting his second tenure as president of the United States on a clean slate, and he's now offering his hand to the Chinese president for at least ensuring that there is fairness in dealing with the two countries. But American interests will be kept supreme. That is something that Donald Trump is very clear about. America first. China follows a policy of China first. So automatically there will be a clash between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping. America is the world's #1 country. China is hoping to replace America as the #1 country in the world. And that is why, as the only superpower, and that is why a clash is inevitable. But Donald Trump wants to ensure his legacy as President of the United States ensures that he put China in its place.
Gaurav, it was a power-packed gathering. Tech giants, billionaires, YouTubers. What are you expecting from America under Trump 2.0?
Donald Trump has hit the ground running. He said he would have at least 100 executive orders on day one, and that's precisely what he's done. And he hasn't restricted it just to an emergency on the southern borders or talking about the Gulf of Mexico being declared the Gulf of America. He has a wide range of issues that he's dealt with, promises that he had made to his supporters, and he's now trying to fulfill them. The fact that he's saying both federal and state agencies will now go after illegal immigrants, that they will declare war on the cartels, and that is something that America has been dealing with. Drugs, illegal human trafficking, it's been America's Achilles heel, and not just from the Mexican border, but also from the Canadian border. Once harsh action is taken on one border, the message will go automatically to the other border. And that is what Donald Trump wants. He wants this shock and awe, that campaign that he's launching on one front, to have its impact on multiple fronts.
Thank you, Gaurav, giving us all those details. My colleague Gaurav Saban joining me from Washington, D.C.